This is Local Edition. Brad Pomerance here in Sacramento, joined by Rocky Chavez. He is a member of the California State Assembly, representing significant portions of San Diego County. And you made some news recently. Our new Attorney General, Xavier Becerra, needed to go through approval of the Assembly and the Senate. On the Assembly side, while many Republicans praised him generally, only one voted to approve his nomination, and that one is you.
That's correct.
Talk us through as why you decided to break ranks and as a Republican vote for Xavier Becerra.
Well, it wasn't something done lightly, but I looked at it this way. Was he qualified? Clearly he was qualified.
He had been Deputy Attorney General, member of Congress for many years, in the Assembly.
And we had a voting record. And I went in and said, is there anything morally or ethically wrong about him? None that I knew of. And I said, you know, I'm not going to agree with him 100% of the time, him being a Democrat and me being a Republican, in particular the Second Amendment.
Right.
But he's not a bad representative of the AG. And I said, you know, we as Republicans need to understand we're in a minority.
Right.
And we need to
minority.
And we need to pick our issues that we want to be spoken on. And this was one I didn't think that we should go to war over. We should vote for him.
And that's a bold statement. You know, I read the press releases from your colleagues. I've spoken with your colleagues. And again, they praised him, but they were concerned he wouldn't focus on public safety. He would be too busy being a foil to the Trump administration. Did you get flack for it?
No, no. There was some, there was a discussion in the caucus, but we're not getting flack to it. Because I told them, I said, we're going to have a change in federal government.
Right.
And California has lived 8 years financially off the support of the federal government, in particular in healthcare. And we know there's going to be a change, and there's a lot that the supermajority can do, but as far as I know, they can't print dollar bills yet.
Right. Let's talk about the new federal administration, because as you said, California receives a great deal of funding from the feds, about $105 billion a year. And we don't know what's going to happen with the new administration, but we do know that the Affordable Care Act is likely to be repealed or a shell of its former self. We do know that many cities and schools have said they're going to be sanctuary sites, and Donald Trump has said, if you are, we're going to withdraw federal funding. I mean, federal funds could dry up.
And if they do dry up, where would the state get the money?
Right.
And right now, as we know, by law, over half the money in California goes to education.
Right, that's Prop 98.
And so I'm very supportive of education. Additionally, we know that this pivot to the Pacific Ocean puts California in a very strong position for more Department of Defense dollars.
Although I'm concerned, as a Californian, I'll say, look, you know better than I, California, especially San Diego, benefits immensely from trade. And the president has been very reticent, to say the least, about increasing trade with our friends in Mexico, our friends in China, our friends in Japan. Are you concerned for your city and county that with trade arguably drying up, that it could impact?
I've been listening to all the hearings, and everybody who's coming forward that he's put forward agrees in the Trans-Pacific Partnership. They agree in the value of NATO.
But he doesn't.
Well, but these are the people he's put forward. And if their policies are going to go that way, and I think somebody's going to tell Trump, so don't knock, knock, knock. The largest trading partner to the state of California is Mexico. The one state that benefits from trade in the Pacific is the United States and California.
I wonder if you have particular credibility, because you are a Republican, you represent a major county. Can you use your stature as an elected Republican from California to talk to the federal government and explain, look, I'm on your team, you know, metaphorically speaking. We need to talk about trade, because we can try to punish the Mexicans all we want, but do we want to cut off our nose to spite, you know, the Mexicans?
And actually, it's not cutting off. People say one of the biggest issues would be immigration.
Right.
Well, if Mexico has a vibrant economy, then you don't have an immigration problem with Mexico.
People aren't coming here for jobs. Flat. I mean,
and actually, it's been going down.
Right, from Mexico.
From Mexico. So there needs to be an adult conversation on the value of trade. It needs to be for our state representatives, understanding that we need to work with the federal government, in particular for Department of Defense investments.
But can you be the adult? Because I'm thinking about San Diego County. I mean, how many Republicans are elected in San Diego County, state and federal? There's you, I guess, Duncan Hunter, Darrell Issa. I mean, can the three of you get together to fight for, presuming you're supportive of trade with Mexico? Forget the immigration issue. I'm talking about dollars, products going between the two countries.
And as I tell people, politicians have a role, but business also has a role. And you need to look at the history of California to understand we have a historical relationship with our southern neighbors. At one time, California. Look at the names of our cities.
Oh yeah, Los Angeles,
Exactly.
San Diego, San Francisco, right?
So we have a historic relationship. Those realities are going to trump small-minded comments. And so the direct question, can I have that voice? Yes. And I've had that voice, as you know, for the past couple of years. Have some of my other Republican colleagues had that same voice? No. But time is marching on, and I do very well in my district. I won with over 2/3 of the vote.
Right, and San Diego County is a pretty blue county. I mean, you've done well. You, Brian Mainshine, a few of you are able to create coalitions to succeed in a bluish county.
And as you know, some of the Republicans in congressional seats didn't have the same
I
success.
mean, Darrell Issa was a hair from losing.
Yeah, he lost 4,000 in my district.
Right.
So what is best for the state? What is best for the nation? When we have those arguments or those discussions, we're going to find out that where Trump may have been way over here and some of our legislators in California may have been way over here, the reality is it's going to be in the center of the road.
Another concern for some, including some of your colleagues in the Republican caucus, is that California's already taken a position in a fighting stance. You know, arguably, Xavier Becerra's nomination arguably was seen as aggressive. Arguably. The Eric Holder retention, most would argue, even Democrats, that was an aggressive stance. You're hiring the former Attorney General of the Obama administration, and you put him on retainer. I mean, how do you have those conversations when it looks like California wants to become Texas on steroids?
The hiring of Holder by the Democratic leadership was a losing move. To go ahead and spend California dollars without any sort of oversight, that's going to be called in question. There was no reason to do that. There's clearly a difference between Becerra as the Attorney General and Holder. Those are two totally different things.
I would agree.
And so, and as I've talked to the Republicans, I said, when somebody is failing, let them continue to go. We don't have to do a thing for them. If the Democratic Party is going to do things like Holder, if the Democratic Party says we're going to fight the federal government with all the resources coming from the federal government, that's a losing position.
With $105 billion.
Now the Republicans have a place where they can actually be going to their voters and saying, you know what, we care about jobs, we care about your children being successful, we care about safe communities, we have solutions for you. Now we have a voice and a platform, which we haven't had in a long time because we've been arguing on all these social issues or other issues that haven't really put us in a winning position.
So immigration is arguably a social issue, arguably.
I don't think immigration is a social issue at all. I think immigration is a historical strength of this country.
But the president has called immigrants names and
all his other people from behind him aren't supporting him in that position. So he's still going to have his Twitter account, but I don't know how that's going to be for Mattis in the Department of Defense.
You'll come back?
Anytime you're ready.
He is Rocky Chavez. He is a member of the California State Assembly. My name is Brad Pomerance. We're in Sacramento today on Local Edition.